Hi folks, Marvin Forte here. Welcome to the third episode of the KFNW Current. Glad to have you all here. If someone wouldn't mind letting me know that everything's working, you can see this, that would be awesome. I'm going to check it myself right now real quick just to be on the safe side. There it is. Let's share that to the group as well. Okay. Thanks for joining us. Before we get started, I want to do a shout out to some of our sponsors, new and old. Pull up my notes here. I guess first and foremost, I want to thank Diamond Parking and Diamond Self-Storage. They are our presenting sponsor this year. At this moment in time, we have not named a title sponsor, but we are working on that. So hopefully we'll get that rolling pretty soon. And speaking of Diamond, I think probably the next episode we'll be able to get Jim Carey on here to talk to us. Get that mic just a little closer. There we go. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. As from what I hear, everybody's getting over a cold. So let's see. Lots of people can hear me. That's great. Super. And speaking of sponsors, the other sponsor that I want to call out here. Well, before I'd even do that, let's talk. Well, yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about our media sponsor. Our media sponsor this year is Northwest Tackle. And I just happen to have Joe in the waiting room here. Let's see if I can get him to join the chat with us. All right, I think we're good there. Let's see. Is Joe there? There's Joe. How's it going, Joe?
What's up, Marvin? Pretty good.
Good to have you on. So, Joe, I first heard about Joe last year, when we had to reschedule that open for Swan Falls. We did an open in the spring like we do for most of our events. And we did it at Black Canyon, and they skunked. Everybody skunked. Everybody in the event skunked. So we're like, what are we going to do? I'm not going to pay people. I'm not going to, just refund their money. So we rescheduled another event, and we did it at Swan Falls. And Greg Marshall, who's been kind enough to be TD of the day at the Open in the Boise area, he stopped in and saw Joe. And Joe, I'll let you pick it up from there, because you were kind enough to donate some gear, I think, for that event last year, and you told me that was a good experience for you.
Yeah. So normally we get requests to donate to tournaments every now and then, and I will say after your guys' event, it was probably some of the best feedback and support towards the shop that we've ever gotten from a tournament. It was kind of honestly a breath of fresh air.
Well, that's great. That warms my heart to hear, because we do hammer our members about it. It's like, support our sponsors.
Yeah.
So it's great when they take it upon themselves, because we didn't tell them specifically go see Northwest Tackle, but it's great that they were happy about. And I'm sure they were happy to have you there too. And probably some of them at that point didn't even know about you yet.
Yeah, yeah, we're still pretty new, so um, yeah, it was. I've talked to you, Marvin, about this. It's just crazy to see how supportive the kayak community can be. Um, it's quite different.
That's great. Yeah. Well, we hear it a lot as well that the community's a little better and a little friendlier, a little more inviting. So it's great to hear that from other people as well. Uh, Again, it kind of warms my heart. It makes me happy. So we got some gear. We gave it away to people, and I think what you told me, I met Joe for the first time back when we did the CJ Strike event last year. Greg set up time for me to swing by and meet Joe and talk, and we ended up talking for about 2 hours, I think, just about all kinds of stuff, KFNW, and also about native and bona fide. And that's one of the other big cool things is that Joe is now a dealer for native and bona fide kayaks. So if you're looking for a native or bona fide and you're anywhere near that Boise area, he is the guy. And not only is he selling the kayaks, but he's going to be a premium rigger of these kayaks too. So if you're looking to have somebody rig out your kayak, Joe's got a lot of experience with that from the boat world, and he's going to parlay that into kayaks. So I'm pretty excited about to see what you come up with there.
Yeah, yeah, we already have one in the works, so it's a fairly elaborate build already. So I'm kind of excited to dig into these.
That's cool. I'm working on mine right now, and I'm not getting too elaborate with it, but yeah, it is fun and exciting to look at figure out all the places you can put stuff and how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And every kayak's different,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, it's been it's pretty cool to talk with everyone with what they want, and then it's kind of interesting on my side because I don't have the kayaks in store just yet, and so I'm having to reach out to Marvin and some other people to kind of see what's going, how things are being done on certain kayaks, just so I could prepare ahead of time.
Well, just like measurements too. I do that for people online, people that are like getting a kayak and they're like, what'll fit here? Will this fit? How wide is that? How long is that? So I'm going out usually to one of my kayaks and measuring it every so often, and I come in and let them know so that they can order the right part or get something in.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
But
It's go ahead.
so we talked quite a bit when I was there at CJ and talked about you coming on board potentially as a KFNW sponsor, and Joe was really interested. He raised that right away, and that's one thing I like to mention about that because it underlines what I tell our members all the time is when you support our sponsors, it makes our job of landing sponsors tremendously easier than us just calling on people out of the blue, cold. You were interested before I even brought it up, and so that just made my job really easy to get you on board. And then, of course, with you coming online as a dealer, it made a lot of sense for you to do it too.
Yeah.
Because all our anglers are your customers for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want to kind of prop you up, Marvin. Is your proposal for like sponsorship and stuff is the nicest proposal I've ever been handed. That right there told me that we were in the right direction, because usually
Thanks.
It's just word of mouth, and no, not everyone gets to see that side of things and the effort put into it. And I want to say, like, I want to tell everyone that Marvin is putting in the work, and everyone else involved in that. It's pretty impressive. We don't see it too often.
Well, I appreciate that. It means a lot. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't do it without all the volunteers that help me to run this. It's too much for one person. It's too much for three people. It takes a dozen people to at least to do the things we need to do, plus the people who just volunteer here and there when we need help with something. And that's the cool thing, is I can always call on our members to help for whatever we need. They'll usually step up and do it. So that's greatly appreciated. So Joe decided to come on board as our media sponsor, and one of the things that media sponsors helped us to do is to do better media for KFNW, and this podcast is a great example of that. It's something I've wanted to do for a few years, but it takes a lot of time and effort to do it, and there's money involved as well in doing it right, to do it the way we're trying to do it. And so Joe's support has really helped us to step that up, and we've got some cool ideas about where we're going to put that money in some of our production values at the events too. So I'm excited to get that all worked out and do it. We're doing one event pretty close to you, Lake Cascade. So we'd love to have you up there if you're available that day. You can come up, you can set up a table.
Already trying to make it work.
That's great. We'd love to have you up there, and you can meet all the anglers, and that'll be really cool.
Oh yeah.
Well, anything else you want to chime in on before I cut you loose?
I guess just to remind everyone, if you want to jump in on the pre-order promotion, the 5% is the normal, but with KFNW members, you get the extra 2%, which a couple have already taken advantage of, and you can put that towards anything in the store. So a lot of guys are putting it towards their rigging or electronics.
That's great. So they get that money in the form of a gift certificate, basically, that they can spend in your shop.
Yeah, they can use it on anything that we offer. So yeah, that's good. We're doing that all the way up to the 15th. So we have to submit that final order. And another good thing is you get to, of course, get your model, but you also get a guaranteed color. So that's always a nice little perk if there's a special color that's kind of hard to find.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's one of the tough things, is getting, if you don't pre-order, you can't always count on a shop to have the color you want, the color and the exact model you want. So yeah, pre-ordering.
Yeah.
If you're picky about that, that's the way to go. So yeah, give Joe a call. And of course, tackle, rods and reels, everything else. Call on him there in Caldwell. I got to visit the shop, like I said, last fall, and he is well stocked. They have just about everything that you would want, especially for bass fishing. Our Oregon guys and especially Western Washington folks, we're used to going in tackle shops, and they have a tiny little bit of bass gear, not much, and so it's really challenging out here because it's all salmon steelhead. And Joe is stocked up on the bass stuff. You do have other stuff too. I saw, you got crappie stuff and sturgeon stuff and everything, but we try to carry a little bit of everything. And
just a reminder too, we do have the website. It is, if you go on it tonight though, you'll currently see that everything's out of stock. That's just because of inventory, but it'll be back up here soon.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate your support, and I really appreciate you stepping in and becoming a dealer. We really needed availability of those kayaks for folks, especially in that Boise area. It was, Next Adventure would get them in when they were doing that, and they were a sponsor of ours as well. But it was a haul for somebody to drive 8 hours, 8-9 hours from Boise to Portland to pick up a kayak. And it could be kind of worth it because they were saving on tax and their discount. But it's great to have somebody closer to home.
Yeah, and for anyone like if you are in the Oregon, Washington, Montana, I mean anywhere outside the Idaho area, feel free to reach out to us. We could try to make a delivery arrangement or something like that too if it's necessary. So,
Well, yeah, even Utah. There's nobody over there in Utah.
mm-hmm.
Salt Lake and that area. So that's an area you might want to hit up as well. There's a club over there, Kayak Fishing Utah, that is a nice club. I know those folks from the West Coast Championship. I work with them to qualify their anglers there, and we do have at least one angler from Montana. So yeah,
Yeah.
he comes over and fishes. He makes the trek and fishes some of our events. The ones that are a little closer to him usually. Calvin D.
That's cool.
Well, great. Thanks again, and
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I hope you get some calls and for some kayak pre-orders here.
Yeah, I mean, just anything. If anyone has any questions, just reach out to us. We like to answer them or get you to the right people.
Cool. Thanks, Joe. Have a great night. You can
Thank
hang
you.
out in the green room or switch online if you want to watch it there. Either way.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. See you.
Bye.
Well, that's it. That's Joe. Joe Bockenstette. Great guy. Let's see, we got a few people that are chiming in. I've been sort of neglecting the comments. I didn't want it to pop in on top of Joe's face. Oh, there's Steve Carroll, Snake River Manufacturing. He says, hey. Brian Mays, Scott Mays. And there's Steve. He knows Joe since they're both in Caldwell. Michael Jarvis says, hey, what's up, peeps? Ryan Comer's here. We got a full house, it looks like. J-Lat's in the house. Oh, here we go. Steve made a good point there. Hal will be at the Boise Sportsman Show, so make sure to go see him. I think he meant Joe. And yeah, and then a bunch of people are saying thanks to Joe. So that's great. Love to see that. Thanks, Joe. All right, well, next up, I've got our old friend, Brandon Hua. Let me bring Brandon in here. Move you there, Brandon. All right. Oh, let's turn Michael Jarvis off. That's way too much screen time for Michael. All right, let's see if Brandon's here. There he is, Brandon.
Howdy, howdy.
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too.
Looking sharp. He's using that good camera.
Yeah.
You're making me look bad.
Yeah, the garage was getting kind of chilly for this time of year, so.
Oh, man.
Moved inside.
William Eschleman says Brandon's getting pretty old. Damn, he is. He is now, I guess. That's true. Getting up there in age.
I am. Man, we got a packed agenda for today.
A little bit. I don't have like 5 people that I've got to manage in the stream, which I did last time, which was a little overwhelming. 2 is a whole lot more manageable, and some graphics that I can do. So I'm sure some people know, you've told some people, and word's gotten around a little, but there's been a little bit of mystery about this Oregon Bass Nation kayak thing going on, and what's the deal? What's the story with this? Is it enough? What are they doing? Are they doing something new? Are they competing with us? Are they? So this came about really. Brandon in the off season reached out to me and was like, what can we do to get a qualifier for bass up here? And I said, yeah, I've talked to Steve about it. Steve Owens is the guy who runs the kayak division for bass. I said, I've talked to him about it. And the thing is, like, for me to do it was a big deal. Like, I would have had to create another entity other than KFNW and it would have to be a Bass Nation. And I looked into it, and I talked to some other people about it, and it just seemed like too much. Michael says, "Give us the rundown." That's what we're doing, man. So,
You got to go with the backstory first.
so I talked to some more people in the off season when we were talking about it, about people who run them and do that. And it just was too much for me to put on my plate, especially with the things that we were doing. Because we were trying to sort of partner up on it, and it was your baby, but I was trying to help out, and I still am as much as I can. And so the original plan, when I said, yeah, I can't really do it, Brandon's like, okay, well, I think I'm going to try and do it. And I'll affiliate it with Oregon Bass Nation, sort of, or create a new entity for the kayak division. And originally, when we did that, we were like, okay, well, because our schedule was kind of already mapped out by then, the KFNW schedule. I'm like, so we're like, well, what can we do to, one, not compete with each other on it, because that makes no sense. And so we tried to kind of, initially we were trying to partner up and do them together, sort of the way we do the native and a tour event, where we do one day that you could double dip and do them both. But the dates and the locations and everything just didn't really work out for that. So Brandon jumped around with a couple of different dates that he was looking at, locations and dates, and ultimately ended up with this one at Umatilla. And it's cool because it's before our first event, and we don't have anything on Umatilla this year, partly by design.
And based off of last year, it's a fun fishery.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. So that's sort of my setup for it. I'm going to let you run with it now and talk about what you were thinking, what you were trying to do. But that's sort of the connection with KFNW is Brandon and I are friends, and we're very collaborative on this whole thing. I'm happy to help him as much as he needs help. But it's also the last thing I'll put in for me personally, it's cool because I'm planning to go fish the event, and I'm not going to be the TD, so I can just focus on the fishing, which I never get to do, which is cool.
Yeah. I mean, this conversation came up a few times. I think some people probably remember I made a little bit post last year about who would be interested if something like this were going to happen. And obviously that was a while ago, but I think for me, it was like, a lot of people would love to see the opportunity to go fish a national tournament, but obviously we don't have the opportunity. So we did, down in California, and they're still doing a qualifier next year of California Bass Nation, but not everybody can do the full KFNW schedule, but also make that long trip down to California. We had a few people 2 years ago. This last year, it was literally just me, and it was a weekend right after Door Shack. So I don't know when their qualifier is for 2026, but I figured it was probably best for us to have
It's moving, is what I've heard about that.
It's like
because there was a conflict with it and the native event. There was kind of a conflict. The California people, there's so many clubs down there, and they had all collaborated and planned it out, and we had the permit for that date, and then theirs it wasn't on the same lake, it was a different lake, but it was the same date, and so we were just going to split the anglers. So the last word I heard is that they may be changing the date on that, so we'll see.
So I just figured, why don't we?
Uh-oh. This happened last time too. Got disconnected. He should be right back. There he is.
Was that me?
No, same thing happened last time. You remember that you just kind of got cut off for some reason.
Interesting. Okay.
We may need to re-get your graphic before we jump over to that. We might have to work on that a little.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to share screen now? Just to
if you're ready, and if there's anything else you want to talk about, yeah, we can jump to that.
I mean, the gist of it will be during the presentation. So I built out a kind of a full slide deck
All right. Well,
So
let's take a
that,
look. Let's see if it works. I may have to
yeah,
reconnect it. Looks like
there
it's
we go.
working.
But yeah, I mean, all this came about just to have an opportunity for, let's say, the weekend warrior up here who can't make several trips down to California or whatever it is. I know there's a lot of anglers up here who, I think Idaho had one a few years back, and it was a trip of a lifetime for them. So the goal at the end of the day of this is to give the anglers up here in the Pacific Northwest an opportunity to go fish that national level, go fish against the Drew Gregory, the Christine Fisher, um, Abby, all those people. And, one where you don't have to fork out, $1,000, $2,000 to go travel down to California or across the nation to go and strive for that opportunity. So with Umatilla, it's, a middle ground for all three states. And this event's going to be for anybody around the Pacific Northwest too. I've heard of guys in California who are interested, potential people from Arizona, so it's open to anybody, which is going to be fun. I think the Columbia River is the best place to do it. We got a little bit of everything. April is going to be a great time of the year. And yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I'm stoked. I see some comments
It's
coming in.
exciting. Yeah, Jared says,
So
can he bring his bass boat since it's basically the same thing as an XTR?
no, there's going to be some specific rules when it comes to that. Trust me, I wish I could use a bass boat too. But with that, let's dive right into it.
Let's do it.
So again, Oregon Bass Nation Kayak. It's a new organization that I created. It was kind of the best way to do this. I got to give a big shout out to Oregon Bass Nation, which is the boat section for the Oregon chapter. And Josh over there has been extremely helpful with the beginning process of
That's
that.
great.
And they're in full support of everything I'm doing. The more people we can send to a national level in the Pacific Northwest, the better it is. And also, again, big shout out to you, Marvin. You've been obviously super helpful along the way. I'll be honest, I did not know. I knew like some about creating a tournament, but there's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I will say that everybody be appreciative of what
I wish
Marvin
everybody
has
could do
done.
it once
It's a lot of work.
so they would get what's involved. But yeah.
Mhm.
And especially answering the questions. I told Brandon he's going to need a read the rules meme for himself now.
Yeah, I'll probably make that for myself so I can pick a good photo. All right, so it's going to be called the Northwest National Qualifier. Um, I actually got some big announcements to make regarding this because we got a
Boom!
title and presenting sponsor for the event. So this is literally off the press today. Sniper Marine is the title sponsor for the event. Um, Many people may or may not know Sniper Marine. I think everybody in KFNW should know because we had their precision pay with KFNW. So Sniper Marine, they make mounting solutions for basically every situation regarding front-facing sonar, transducers, whether you need it for your boat, your trolling motor, or even a kayak. They're in full support of having this event, and they're not even anywhere in this area, and they see the passion that we have in this community, and they want to support. So this is really big for us. And then also Snake River Manufacturing, Steve Carroll, the U will be the presenting sponsor for this event. And Steve, I mean, everybody probably already knows, he makes the best bad to the bone trailer for kayaks on the market.
No
Um,
question.
I've put, I think last year I put like 8,000 miles on my trailer and had no issues. He's always innovating, always creating solutions for us anglers to make traveling for us easier everywhere we go. I'm sure at a later date, Steve will chime in on some new things in the works, let's say. And that's just how Steve is. He's always trying to figure out more solutions for us.
Mad
But that is
scientist.
this is big for us. So with their support, we'll dive into it a little bit later, but I will not need to take any membership fees from anybody to make this happen. This is
Boom.
going to allow us to have all the trophies, all the foam board checks, all the banners. Um, I don't have to pull anything from the entry fees to run this event, and that's just going to benefit the anglers. So I got to give a big shout out to both of them for making this happen. This is really big for us, and this is something, especially for Sniper Marine, they don't really do this caliber of support for any organization, really.
No, they
So
don't. It
it's an
speaks to
opportunity.
you and your what you've done for them. They
I've
obviously
been
appreciate
with
everything you've done.
on their team since the beginning, and they know about the passion that I have for this community and shining light in the Pacific Northwest. So we'll be teaming up together to make noise out of this event, which is a really cool opportunity.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's officially the Sniper Marine Northwest National Qualifier presented by Snake River Manufacturing. That sounds
Nice.
pretty cool to me.
Got a good ring to
All
it.
right, so a little bit agenda for today. Again, this is all going to be like early details of the events. I'm hoping to have later this month, like registration, all that stuff with additional details. But I know everybody's itching to learn more about this. Um, so we'll be go over like an overview of OBNK, Oregon Bass Nation Kayak, just briefly about it. Tournament details, exactly what are you guys fishing for? Are you all fishing for? We'll go over entry fee, some payout stuff, and then some plans that I have for this tournament. So, Oregon Bass Nation Kayak is the official kayak bass fishing division of Oregon Bass Nation. Again, I mentioned earlier that there's a boat section of it. When I made this, it's all about just growing competitive kayak fishing in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, and this is realistically a community-driven opportunity. Myself, and obviously there'll be volunteers and stuff. Right now, I'm the only person. I guess it's kind of weird to say, but I guess I'm the president. So, this is definitely a community-driven event, and as we continue to get more sponsors and stuff, we'll see that there's support for the anglers in this community. But diving into tournament details, so again, this is going to be April 11th and 12th at Lake Umatilla, Tilla, Columbia River. Um, we'll see in the bottom right hand corner is a poorly drawn example of the boundaries for the
I like
tournament.
that. I
So
like that.
I have Oregon approved, and the Washington permit is currently pending, but I see no problem with that Washington permit being
Yeah, that will happen.
okayed.
They've got their whole schedule published on their
Mhm.
website, and there's no conflict, so you're going to be good there.
So we'll have, this is essentially going to be the boundaries. I'll have a list of available ramps for the tournament and all that stuff. Again, all that stuff will come soon. But essentially, you're looking at from the upper end of this body of water, it'll be McNary Dam down to the John Day Dam. You'll be able to go into certain, I guess you could say, tributaries.
Sloughs,
You can go
tributaries, yeah.
John Day River up to a certain point. Again, that will be solidified later, but it's a lot of water, a lot of ways to spread out and get away from people. This is a 2-day event, so that's a strategy maybe some people might want to consider, is to get away so that you don't have pressure on your fish for 2 days. So I think that's important. And the reason why I did a 2-day event, because realistically, when you go fish the Bass Nation Championship, if you qualify, that's a 2-day event. Actually, I think they might make it. No, it's a 2-day, 3-day. It's a 3-day event. Sorry, I believe.
That sounds right.
So, understanding how to fish those multiple day events are really important. We're lucky enough to have a few of those up here. We had Door Shack was a 2-day event.
Yeah,
So, and then also the classic.
the
So a
classic every
lot
year.
changes over a 2-day span fish management, all that stuff is really important. So I think, if you can do it for over 2 days, I think that, just shows that you're qualified to go. Instead of having a lucky one day, you got to
Yeah,
battle out for 2 days.
sure. Yeah, you catch a decent bag, and then you get lucky and catch one or two tanks, and
Hmm.
you're in the top three. But if you can do that 2 days, that's a pattern.
Yeah. Hmm. Things can change. That's what I've been doing
As
at
you
the
know,
classic.
that's
Yep.
right. You were on top day one of the classic, and you still ended up on the podium. But Dan
Yeah.
Walker caught that giant right at the end of the day on day two.
Hmm. Things can switch pretty quick. But one thing about this event is that it is going off of Bassmaster rules. So Bassmaster hasn't updated their rules for 2026. So I can't drop a link to that, but expect it to be their rules. And some of their rules are going to be different from KFNW. So for anybody who's fishing KFNW or you're fishing any other clubs on the West Coast, like just understand that their rules are very specific. They're different. Um, and you want to be able to pay attention to that. So as Marvin always says, read the rules, right?
Yeah, and we do look at theirs. We look at Bass, and we used to look at Hobie when Hobie B.A.S. was doing theirs, and we definitely used to use KBF rules and parts of KBF rules. So we're always looking at that. But yeah, we're not real different than Bassmaster, but
Hmm.
I think the off limits is pretty close to ours because we kind of modeled ours after them for 2025. We had started with a little bit different off limits, and then we modified it because some of the anglers asked us to. So we did, and we kind of modeled it off there, so it's pretty close. But that solicitation of information, that is very different with them than
Yeah,
us.
that is a big one. So you kind of covered it. I know some people who found out that I was running it messaged me about, hey, what can I pre-fish leading up to event, blah, blah, blah. There is a 14-day off limits. So March 21st to April 3rd, you cannot be on the body of water. So that's 2 weeks before. And then the Saturday before is when official practice starts, 7 days before.
So that
So,
affects KFNW for anybody that's signing up for the 50/50 season long. That
mhm.
means you're not going to be able to fish in the Umatilla section, the Lake Umatilla section of the Columbia River for that 14-day off limits period. You're going to have to stay off the river, off that part of the river at least. Go up to Lula, go down to Bonneville, either one, but stay out of Umatilla.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good sacrifice, though, if you plan to fish
Oh
this
heck yeah,
event.
there's
And
plenty of
we'll
water in
dive
that.
into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
all
dive
good.
we'll dive into a little more details later. But they have a very strict solicitation of information. Again, I'll list a little bit of it later, but this pertains to the bartering or solicitation of information. Solicit is defined as to ask for or intentionally receive. So during this practice period, you're not allowed to do any of that. This includes, um, talking to people outside of the tournament, trying to get info from your buddies the week during practice period, all those type of things. And then another thing that's different from with Bassmaster is that mobile devices are not to be used to communicate with competitors or non-competitors about tournament waters, fishing strategies, techniques, or similar topics. So you can't call, message your buddy or whatever, even a competitor during the tournament. Hey, how's the bike going for you? What's the update? Blah blah blah. You cannot do that. Obviously, in KFNW, we're allowed to do that. It can only be used for things like emergency services. Communication with tournament director. You can use it for social media updates. So that's one thing. You can
Sure.
do that. Self promotion there. Um, and stuff like that. So again, everything will be listed on the rules, but that is one thing that's completely different. So I know that some people are, they have their little group text messages or Facebook Messenger groups, and you cannot communicate with others during that. So that's one thing to consider. For kayaks and propulsion, it's KFNW has something a little bit different. For B.A.S.S, it's 3 horsepower or 155 foot-pounds of thrust. So I'm not a big fan of having that high of a thrust on a kayak, but we will be following the rules. So those
Yeah,
of
we
you who
haven't. We're updating those rules for KFNW a little bit, and we haven't
might,
released it for 2026 yet. We're working on the rules right now, but
yeah,
yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think especially for a bow mount motor, 155 is too much. It's just
I
too
agree.
powerful for a bow mount, especially if somebody puts it on a 10-foot kayak or something like that. I mean, I think that's just dangerous. So
Mm,
we're going to have a little smaller limit. You'll still be able to do, your NK300s and your Torpedo Travel Ultralight on the stern, but on the bow you'll be limited a little more.
But we're following Bassmaster rules. So if you want to buy a 36-volt motor for this
For
one
one
event,
for one
go
event,
ahead.
there you go.
Yeah, go ahead. Um, but yeah, so those are just the little things as far as Bassmaster rules. There's a lot more. Again, I'll provide that to everybody as we get things going.
Yeah,
But the big thing about this tournament, obviously, the top 10% qualify for the Bassmaster Kayak Series National Championship. That's October 4th to the 14th. So when selecting this date of April 11th and 12th, I wanted to give the anglers enough time to prep for that. It's not as much time. They usually do it the following year, but that has changed. So obviously, doing it a little bit earlier in that March and stuff is too tricky, and it's too
yeah,
much. Yeah, there's just too much weather, unpredictable weather when it comes to it. So
super unpredictable. We tried to do some events in March, and it's just too much.
yeah,
You just never know what it's going to do. March is really unpredictable. April's a little more secure.
yeah, it's gonna be better weather. The fish should be full pre-spawn. Um, I think there's gonna be some really big bags that we're gonna see. It's gonna be a good time. But also another thing I want to mention is that I will also be fishing an event, but I will not be the tournament director. So I will be outsourcing a tournament director so that I don't have to see or do or anything with that type of judging. Someone else is going to be doing it. I'll still be running the event. Also, it adds another angler to the pot. I won't be fishing the whole event essentially because obviously I got to make sure wards and everything is all good, but I will be fishing the event, just not doing the TD stuff. So there will be a TD that will answer questions and concerns and all that. Again, all that information I'll make available as we kind of get that figured out.
That's
But
great.
I will be a competitor just so we can get that extra spot, hopefully.
Super. Zach asked a good question. For those who've done our events on the Columbia 4, they probably already know the answer to this, but do we need Oregon and Washington license? So that section of river, you've got Oregon and Washington, that whole stretch. Oregon on one side, Washington on the other. So the answer to that is it depends. It depends on where you want to fish. If you want to fish in the John Day River, you absolutely are going to need an Oregon license. You can't fish the John Day River with a Washington license. Basically, what you need to think about is the like the railroad trestles on both sides. That's sort of a good boundary to think about. If you're going to go past those, then you need the license for that side of the river.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, basically, what I've been told is that basically, if you draw a line down the bank, if you're going past that line, you're in Oregon or Washington wires, and instead of the Columbia, essentially. So,
If you want to be
um,
safe, get them both.
yeah.
You're going to need them both for KFNW anyway, right?
Mhm. Yeah, but if you fish the main stem of the Columbia and don't plan to go into these back cuts and bays and underneath bridges on either side, you can do one license for either state.
Right.
So whichever is cheaper. If let's say someone's coming from California or out of state, um, that's one thing that, and we'll go over this a little bit more later. once I get a little bit better idea of the exact boundaries and everything, we'll go over examples of where you can and cannot go based off of which license.
There's one right there. Jim Carrey asked dual motors. To this
Bassmaster
point,
does not allow dual
Bassmaster does not
motors.
allow it. That's right. The only ones I know of really who are doing it are Yakka Bass down in California.
Yeah. Yep. And then, when it comes to motors as well, they have specific rules about the exact limit of your kayak, the weight capacity, what motor it's rated for, because some of these kayaks do come with a little sticker that says what the rating is. So we will definitely do checks at registration to make sure that you're in compliance with the rules, your kayak is safe, and all that stuff. So
Sure.
don't think you can sneak away with that.
Zach's asking if there's no 12-volt motors. That would be impossible. Definitely 12 volts will be allowed.
Yep. So what are you guys fishing for? So with the help of Sniper Marine, Snake River Manufacturing, and I'm in the works of a few other sponsors right now, you'll probably see on the right side, we're going to have 3 blue Bassmaster trophies made by Catch. First, second, and third will get these Bassmaster style trophies with the big topper on it that says Bass. The champion is going to get the big one, and obviously second and third will have slightly smaller sizes. So we're going to have an opportunity to have 3 Bassmaster style trophies in the Pacific Northwest, or I guess if someone from California or Arizona comes in and takes it, they can. But that's going to be something that I think is going to be pretty cool, is that hardware. Again, top 10% will make it to nationals. So you're fishing for those spots. If we get 50 people, 5 people will go. This is a 1 in 10. If we get 100 people, 10 people will go. Obviously, the more people, the better. We can start figuring out, carpool situations, lodgings, and all that. And then I'll have 3-foot wide foam board checks, kind of like the one in the bottom left-hand corner. We will have it for the top 3 finishers. Big bass as well. That will be one of them. But there's a lot on the line when it comes to this, and I want to create these memories for everybody out here. And because of our sponsors, I'm able to make this happen. I mean, I don't even think there's a blue trophy, Bassmaster trophy in the Pacific Northwest anywhere. I don't think so. So
I don't think so.
maybe JLS, but that's obviously from the boat side. But
Right.
yeah, Catch will be making these. They'll be engraved. This is just a quick mock-up. They're going to look slightly different, but I think this will be a really cool opportunity for anglers up here, something to remember. If maybe I might be able to do a little bit more for those who qualify, but we'll see how the numbers go as we get closer.
I envy you having a single event because you can do so much with a single event. You can put a lot of extra work and cool stuff into it. So that's great.
Yeah. And I can't imagine what it's like to run a full series. This one event already enough for me. So some logistics about the event. Because of the sponsors, I'm able to keep the entry fee somewhat low, but also to keep the payouts where they need to be. So entry fee will be $150. There you have to also get a Bassmaster magazine membership. That's just one of the requirements. It's $20. And then to compete in a Bass Nation series, you need to pay the fee of $30 as well. So all in, you're $200. That's just what it takes to be a part of it. I know some organizations do it a much higher entry fee, or they have multiple events so you can qualify. So the single event, that's going to be what it takes. And then there'll be an optional $20 big bass pot. And that's going to be overall and also second big bass. So we've kind of done it I think KFNW did it during the Classic one time, and then WCC tends to do it. So there's two opportunities, two reasons to fish, both days of the event, even if your day one isn't going as well. We'll pay an overall big bass, and then the second big bass will be for the opposite day, so that someone has a chance to win some money. So this payout example I have on the right side, I will say that it is divided up a little more evenly. Again, this is an event for the community. I want to see everybody who qualifies able to go. So
Mhm.
top three will still get, a little bit higher percentage of the pot, but it's a little more evenly distributed going down the line. So, 30 angle this is based off a 92% payout, because there are some merchant fees and processing fees that uh, comes from Turniacs and stuff like that. But I will say, when I created this was before the influx of sponsorships. So we're going to see a much higher payout. This is lower than what it's going to be, essentially. So 30 anglers, a pot of 4,125. You'll see first, 2,000. Second is going to be 12,3750. Third is 825. And then obviously 50 anglers you see go up, 75 anglers go up, up, up. We get 100 anglers. Last two spots will still make $412.50. And then that's going to help when it comes to going across the country or whatever it is. But I didn't feel like it was right to just give first place a majority of the winnings.
Especially with a
Because
single
again,
event, I think that's great. I think that's
yeah, yeah, I would love to see more people go one way or another. So um, I had AI do this to make it a little more even, and I really like the way that it did it. I think it's a little more fair and really pushes more community aspect how this tournament is ran. And then in the bottom right hand corner, you got Big Bass. Um, Obviously you got 30 anglers, 50, 75. You have the overall in second, so there's still some good money to be made there for Big Bass. But those are the current payouts. That is not updated. Obviously, with the sponsorships, we'll have much higher payouts, and any additional sponsorships, and even some of the ones that we are receiving now, is going right back into the pot. So I want to be able to see, um, you know, a good amount of everybody's traveling expenses covered if possible.
that's great.
Trying to see if there's any questions.
No, I'm watching. Nothing important.
Cool.
Either one's
So
great.
some additional plans. And this is not all completely set. Some of it is, but one thing I'm looking to do is add contingencies, more ways for anglers to get more cash or get more, value out of fishing an event. So Sniper Marine, they have their precision pay contingency. So if you run a Sniper Marine pole that you bought from a dealer or from their website, you're automatically in. And I'm excited to announce that Sniper Marines is giving us the biggest contingency that they've ever done. That's $500 for running their product, and it goes to the longest bass in the tournament. So they've only done, I think, a $250 contingency for any other organization,
Mm-hmm.
and we're given the opportunity for 500. Now, I will say that I am still in conversations with them about maybe splitting that 500 into two so that we can have multiple winners.
Great.
But I think that's another reason to consider. And Marvin, you mentioned it earlier about supporting our sponsors. They're giving back. They don't have to do this. They don't have to support us out here, but they want to. They see our passion, our love for the sport. So if you're in the market for a front-facing sonar pole of some sort, consider Sniper Marine. They're doing a huge favor for us out here and supporting us. They don't have to, but they want to see us anglers up here try to go to that national championship and make our big dreams or big goals become reality. So I'm looking to do some other contingencies as well. I'll have more updates later, but just ways for you guys to win extra cash by your small ways of supporting these companies. We will have an award live stream, so the live stream will be live, and so that you can have your friends, your family watch as everything goes down. I will have probably some sort of commercial at the beginning to support our sponsors, but also kind of get us prepared for it. I will probably the plan for this is that I'll start it. Tournament director will go over, who made the cut to qualify, and then I'll wrap things up. I don't want to know anything about who made it, who doesn't. That's all the TD's decision. But obviously, I got to run the event and take care of the other stuff. My plan is to have a photographer at the event. Still in discussion about on the water, but at minimum, we're going to have registration award ceremonies taken care of. So, again, want to be able to make these memories for everyone and, document everything. If I can get someone to be on the water and get photos of everybody and we can, capture some of those memories, those fish catches, I'm going to try to do it. Um, and then the goal is to try to get some national exposure. So I think I have some opportunities coming up with some podcasts. I'm looking to see if we can get some magazine coverage for the event, some recaps, so that if you do qualify, you can get, as an angler, you get some more exposure for yourself, leading up to the championship. Um, I remember the first time I was put in a magazine, and I thought how cool it was. I literally have it hanging in my garage. So I think this would be a cool opportunity for any person who qualifies to have that opportunity, and even just a group photo of us. As we're at awards or registration, to have everybody in the shot, and you can showcase that you're in a magazine. So there's a lot of additional things that comes to it. Those are kind of the four that I wanted to touch on, but all in all, this is not just a small event. I'm trying to make this a big platform for us anglers up here, so that we can shine some light in the Pacific Northwest, I guess you could say. That's always been my goal, and that's why I took the initiative to do this whole thing, so that we can, I think we deserve a little more recognition up here, and I'm happy to take the step forward to do it. So I hope to see a lot of people out at this event. I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be memorable, and I if you miss out, I think you're probably going to be upset that you did. But
Absolutely.
again, I just want to say a big thank you to the sponsors so far. So we have, again, Sniper Marine, our title sponsor, Snake River Manufacturing, Steve Carroll, and we also have an additional sponsor in MTA Real Estate. So they are what we consider a non-endemic sponsor. They're not really in the fishing industry per se, or the kayak fishing industry. Um, they have a private marina for tenants and storage out of the port of Tacoma. So it's really not in our industry, but they see the passion that I have for this community. Um, they're actually good friends with John Bush as well. So big thank you to John Bush for making this happen. But they want to see people's dreams become reality, and they're throwing cash in to help make this event happen. So I got to give a big shout out to them as well.
Well, that's great. We're always happy to get those non-endemic sponsors as much as we can. I was very sad that Rogue went away, went out of business, because they were great non-endemic sponsors, and Diamond is a great example of that.
Mhm.
But if you need parking or self-storage in parking all over the Northwest, self-storage in Spokane area, then give them a call.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. Still a lot of work to do, but I'm excited for it. Again, there's gonna be a lot more kind of happening as we get closer, but this event, a big turnout with this will mean a lot for coming years. I think this is just a start. This is a lot already. I didn't honestly. I had a vision for this, but I didn't. I felt good about it happening in the way that it's looks like it's turning out, but it definitely has surprised me. And it's cool to see the support from the community, but also outside of the community that wants to see this happen.
Absolutely. Colin's asking about the championship. It's in October this year.
October 14th to the 16th.
Have they announced the location?
Location hasn't been announced yet.
That's what I thought. But yeah, it is in October. So it's the same time as our classic. Thankfully, it's not the same weekend. So if you make it into both, you can still do them both.
Yeah. What days did you move up your the classic for KFNW? You moved it up.
It's a week earlier. Yeah, it's basically a week earlier. It's like the 4th, 5th, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like October a lot better, anyways, because
I
March is
never
always
liked the
iffy to
March
go
thing.
over.
It just felt weird to go to a whole new season, new year. Like if you're on a run and things are going well for you, like then to take the whole winter off and come back and hit it, I don't know.
I think it from a safety perspective as well, because a lot of the passes are still covered
depending
in
on
snow.
where it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, that probably wouldn't be a big deal, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Let me switch back to our giant heads. Great job, man. Really, really well done, and it's awesome that you're trying to bring something to the Northwest that it has been an elusive thing up here. We just haven't really been able to pull it off. That's one reason that we did the West Coast Championship. It's partly what caused KFNW, but the West Coast Championship was really about that. Is we were waiting for big series to kind of show up and do stuff out west, and they weren't. So we decided to just do it ourselves. Me and James and Mark just said, okay, well, it's James' idea. We're like, yeah, let's just do our own big championship out here. So, and that's still a great event, and you don't have to travel as far.
Absolutely.
Clear Lake's a whole lot closer than wherever the championship is going to be in October. It's going to be far away. It's going to be maybe Texas. That's probably about the closest you might see it, but it probably won't be any further west than Texas.
Yeah, and last year was Fork, so be definitely a little bit more east.
It'll probably be even further east then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, creating more opportunities out here, but also not conflicting with other schedules is super important.
Yeah.
So
it's hard.
I was happy to find that date in April to make it work. And I'm sure a lot of anglers, including myself, are itching to get out on the water and compete. And
yeah,
it can be a warm up for the Native and Potholes event happening at the end of the month.
That's right. It's just a few weeks before, which is great. Keep people warmed up, get them hot, and get them back on the water and win some money and prizes.
Yeah.
Well, while I've got you here, let's talk about a couple of other things. Let me look at my notes and see what else we've got here. One thing I wanted to talk about is a couple just items to let everybody know. If you've gone on the KFNW website recently and tried to order something, tried to buy something in the shop, it probably didn't work, and I didn't realize that. There was a technical issue with part of the software, and I got that fixed, so that should be working fine now. But if you ever do try to order some stickers or a shirt or anything like that, and you can't, please let me know. Nobody did. I found it on my own, but yeah, it should be back working now. For KFNW, we're still working on sponsorship. I just not finished, but really negotiated with Discount Tackle. They are coming back on board. I know you're on their team, so I wanted to kind of bring that up while you're here. They are, once again, for KFNW, they are doing the first angler out of the money. So first angler out of the money will get a $100 gift certificate to Discount Tackle, which is great. They are also doing the Big Bass for the Classic, which they did this year. Dan Walker got a hefty, they did $15 an inch is what they did. So the bigger the fish, the more the money. And so, yeah, it's like $300 to $350 or $340 to $380 or something like that, depending on how big it, We're going to be on Stevenson, so yeah, somebody could catch 22, maybe even a 23. Be good. And then they're going to be back supporting Native again this year as well, Native and the West Coast Championship Discount Tackle. So that's great.
Awesome.
So, we talked to Joe a little earlier about coming on board as a Native and bona fide dealer. And it used to be there were just no dealers up here. All we had really was Next Adventure. There were a couple years ago up in Washington, but there haven't been for some time. And so we've got Joe over in Caldwell, the Boise area, but and we've had Alder Creek Canoe and Kayak, or Kayak and Canoe, here in Portland. They were a dealer, but they really focused more on Liquid Logic and Hurricane, which are other big adventures brands. And they didn't do a lot of Native, but now with Next Adventure not doing any paddle sports, at least not at the present time, they've stepped up and they're doing a little bit more. So you've got an option in the Boise area. You've got an option in the Portland area. And now we just heard, Brandon and I had a little heads up on it. We knew a few weeks ago about this, but now Nixon's Marine in Pasco, the Tri-Cities area, are coming on board as a bona fide and Native dealer as well. So that covers a lot of the Northwest. All we're really missing is Seattle and Coeur d'Alene, and we'll have the whole Pacific Northwest covered. But it's pretty big news. It helps our anglers because our anglers are spread out all over our three states and beyond a little bit. So it really helps to get people there, and it helps potentially get more people on the team too. Some of the better anglers who have really good social media stuff, it can be great. Let's see. So speaking of Nixon's, they've got an open house coming out. Let's take a look at this graphic. They've got an open house coming up this weekend. And why are you not on this flyer? I understand you're bringing your kayak. You're totally rigged kayak up there. You're just a spectator, but you're bringing your kayak up there, right?
Yeah, I'll be bringing the Bonafide PWR 129 and the Snake River manufacturing single up there to display. Willie's shipment doesn't arrive for I think another month or so. So just to showcase all these bass boat guys what a good looking boat looks like. I'll have it on the showroom floor.
Nice.
If anybody's watching has questions and all that, I'll be there. But ultimately, I'm a spectator, but also answering questions and promoting the sport that we all love, and that's sky fiction. So I'll be out there doing that.
I was hoping to make it up there. I don't think I'll be able to, but if I can, I'll figure out a way to do it. But there'll be a lot of there'll be some KFNW people up there. There'll be a lot of our friends. There'll be a lot of our sponsors. If you look at that vendor list, Three Rivers Tackle, longtime sponsor of KFNW. We've all been to that shop and love.
Spent a lot of money there.
Spent a lot of money. Shannon's got a lot of great stuff. Willamette Weapon Lures is going to be up there. Again, a sponsor of ours for 2025. And I haven't talked to him yet, but I would imagine he's going to be back for 2026, which is great. B&W Bass Candy, based there in the Tri-Cities. They are going to be back for 2026. We haven't nailed down our deal yet, but it's going to be similar. We'll have a lot of gear from them. They're good friends of KFNW. So yeah, there'll be a lot of good connections up there, especially this time of year when there's not much you can do unless you go out like Brandon and Michael and catch pale smallmouth, beige smallmouth. It's a beige back instead of a bronze back.
I think Michael Jarvis said ghostly looking in his words.
He was right. I heard him say that. Yeah, he was right. I mean, I've caught those fish this time of year in Hag, and yeah, I haven't caught a smallmouth like that, a big smallmouth like that this time of year, but the largemouth are very pale as well.
I was very surprised. But yeah, I mean, this event, if you guys are free this weekend, Saturday, come out. I mean, this is a stacked list. Easton Fothergill, classic winner from 2025. I mean, how often do you have the opportunity to meet a classic winner?
That's pretty cool.
A hammer as well. Tom Wynn, I think he won a national walleye tour. So anybody who's interested in walleye fishing, that's a big opportunity to learn from one of the best in the nation. Ken Ma, I mean, Western pro that has won more trophies than he could ever need. I think he needs like a separate house for all the trophies he's won. He is dialed. He's a versatile angler and knows a lot. So it's cool to get some insight from someone from south from us who can talk about a lot of things that works and doesn't work. And he's actually going to be talking about the Columbia River in his seminar as well. So if you want to learn a little bit about the Columbia, if you've never been there, haven't spent much time, you're going to hear from it from an outside perspective on how he breaks it down. And then big photo on the bottom. I'm sure everybody knows Brandon Palnick. He'll be there. I don't think he's doing a seminar, but he'll be there to say hi, shake hands, kiss babies, whatever you want. He's going to be there as well. So this is a pretty cool opportunity. I think even if Nixon's wasn't, becoming a kayak dealer, I think it's just a cool one to be at, to support. I've mentioned plenty of times about community, supporting community and those within the community. So it'll be a fun one.
Absolutely. Sam Max asks, sorry, where's this at? It's right here. It's Nixon's Marine.
Nixon's Marine in Pasco. Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So the Tri-Cities area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be a very busy one. There's going to be a lot of people there, but it's going to be a good time. You'll have your opportunities to meet each and one of them, get your photos and all that.
That's great. Well, that's cool. Yeah, why don't you hang out a minute here? I've got another order of business I got to do. Let's see. We talked about Nixon's. Yeah. So, final free membership winner drawing, early bird drawing. This is the time and the place that we're going to do it. Brandon, you were one of the winners in the first round. We'll be naming one more winner for the 2026 season. We've had 72 people sign up early for early membership, which is great. I really appreciate it. It helps us, especially before the sponsorship funds start rolling in. It brings us in a little bit of money that we can start paying for permits and things like that, which we have to do much earlier. So let's see. Do I have that up on my screen? I do. Let me get it. Get it where you can all see it. Right here. There's me. Oh, where's Brandon? Let's get you back in here, Brandon. There you go. Oh, you're tiny. You're itty bitty.
That's fine. Looks good.
You like it that way, huh? Yeah, that's weird. You're just itty bitty. Okay, well.
That's fine.
All right, let's do the spin and see who wins. Oh, I'm clicking on the stream like that's gonna work. Here we go. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Kyle Bowers.
Congratulations.
Let me get this back where you're not just a little dot on the page again. Kyle Bowers, that's great. That's our last free membership. You can go sign up anytime you want between now and when the season starts, and even beyond that, on Tourney X. That's the difference this year. You can get to it from the website. If you go to the website, you can click on registration, and it'll give you the link to go to Tourney X and do it. But that's where you're signing up this year. And it's great for me. I'm glad Dwayne set that up for Tourney X because I don't have to check and make sure people are members. If you've signed up for an event, you're a member. Unless it's an open. The opens, obviously, you don't need a membership, so you can sign up for those regardless. The members-only section of the website is coming soon. I got to get you guys access. It's a little different now with everything being in Tourney X. I'm going to have to get you into the member section a little bit differently. You did it when you paid for your membership before, but now it's different. But that's about it. That's about all I have. We're just a little over an hour and 15 minutes, so I think that's pretty good. Thanks again to Joe from Northwest Tackle for joining us. Thank you, Brandon, for talking to us about the first ever B.A.S.S. event here in, if not in all of the Northwest, certainly in Oregon and Washington the first time. So we're excited about that. And thanks everybody for tuning in to the KFNW Current. I'm going to try and do this probably about twice a month as we go through the season. And that'll give us a chance. In one, we'll kind of preview what's coming up and what's happened. So we should be able to cover everything. I'll have to look at the dates and kind of map it out on the calendar. But if we can do it every other Tuesday or something like that, we'll do it.
Season needs to start right away. I'm itching.
Itching? You got a long way to go, man. 4 months.
I don't know. I got to do something. I have to go do some sturgeon fishing or something from the kayak. Break a sweat in this cold.
Is the time of year for that. Anybody heard about the Sturgeon Social? Is that going to be happening? Where's Bobby Perio?
I haven't heard anything. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. I'll try my best, but I think everything that I have to offer was on this slide. We'll be making some more announcements as things are moving and flowing. But this is going to be a big fun event. So hopefully see a bunch of you out there. Hopefully, we can break the 100 mark, send 10 plus people to nationals. And it's going to be a fun time.
That's great. I just got a message from Joe, also from Northwest Tackle. He is now a Sniper Marine dealer. So there's a tie-in for you with B.A.S.S.
You want to be contingent, go see Joe.
Go see Joe, and he'll hook you up with... I mean, there's no question it's the best out there for forward-facing. If you're doing forward-facing and you really want precision targeting, it's the way to go. Yeah. And it's it's more expensive than a PVC tube. No question about that. But if you're already spending the money on forward-facing, you're already spending a whole bunch of money on the forward-facing and the computer and the battery for it and everything. It's nothing compared to that.
It just makes life easier on the water, you know, and it's accurate, durable. I beat the crap out of mine. I've hit a lot of docks and poles and logs trying to cut corners a little too quick, and it holds up.
That's great. All right. Well, thanks again, and I'll catch you next time, Brandon.
Sounds good. See you, everybody. Thanks for joining in.
And that's about all I've got for you as well. Thanks again to everybody for tuning in and watching. Sorry for my froggy, gravelly throat, but hopefully it'll be better by the next time I do this. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or suggestions, you can reach out to me. If you've got any ideas about sponsors, anybody that you know that might want to be a sponsor, whether they're in the fishing industry or outside the fishing industry, please introduce me to them, get me in touch with them, and we'll see if we can make something happen. And with that, I bid you adieu. Happy New Year to all of you.